Russia launched a deadly missile attack on the Ukrainian city of Poltava. 8 people have died in Gaza as efforts to vaccinate children against polio continues.
Romania has designated its candidate for EU Commissioner in a bid to support the gender equality called for by the President.
The European Court of Auditors says neither Sweden nor the Netherlands have received any money from the EU's COVID recovery fund yet.
Russia fired 2 ballistic missiles on the Ukrainian city of Poltava on Tuesday, killing at least 49 people and injuring scores more, Ukrainian officials say. The missiles blasted a military training facility, a nearby hospital and residential buildings.
Ми в цей час перебували вдома, це була 9 ранку, і дуже сильні 2 вибухи. Ми дуже злякалися, ми швидко побігли в ванну, тому що було реально дуже страшно. І, на щастя, у нас нічого не вибило, але от поряд будинок, за ним тупо все повибивало, всі вікна. У нас підвала немає в нашому домі, тому у нас єдиний варіант – це був поки сидіти.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said more than 180 people were injured.
Обов'язково російська наволоч відповість за цей удар. Ми знову і знову кажемо усім у світі, хто має силу, щоб зупинити цей терор. Системи ППО і ракети до них потрібні в Україні, а не десь там на складі. Далекобійні удари, які можуть захистити від російського терору, необхідні зараз, а не колись потім. Кожен день зволікання.
The attack happened as Russian forces continue their attempts to fend off Ukrainian soldiers in Kursk, a stronghold secured by Kyiv in early August. German car manufacturing giant Volkswagen this week announced it was considering plant closures due to auto industry headwinds. This is the first time in the company's 87-year history it has mulled shutting a factory in its native country. For VW employees going to work in Wolfsburg, many feel left in the dark about their careers.
Ja, wir sind alle davon ausgegangen, dass wir natürlich bis 2029 Planungssicherheit haben, Beschäftigungssicherung haben, aber augenscheinlich hat das Unternehmen jetzt anders entschieden und meint, jetzt hier andere Wege gehen zu müssen.
European automakers are facing increased competition from their Chinese counterparts to make cheaper and greener cars faster.
Die europäische Automobilindustrie befindet sich in einer sehr anspruchsvollen Lage. Das wirtschaftliche Umfeld hat sich nochmals deutlich verschärft.
Volkswagen did not confirm how many jobs out of roughly 120,000 could be on the chopping block. An Israeli attack has killed at least 8 people at a UN shelter in Gaza's Jabalia refugee camp, according to local media. Al Jazeera reports that almost half a dozen people were killed while queuing for bread. It comes a day after IDF missiles destroyed a house in Deir al-Bala in central Gaza. Israeli military also bombed the street of Al-Jala further north in the city centre, resulting in several casualties. Meanwhile, global efforts to immunise children in Gaza against polio has entered its 3rd day. Health workers set up mobile vaccination centres with the hopes of preventing a wider outbreak after the disease was detected in a child.
To address this polio campaign, WHO, World Health Organization, and the UNICEF brought 1.2 million doses of polio type 2 vaccine to Gaza recently.
The goal is to vaccinate at least 90% of children under the age of 10 in Gaza, according to UNRWA, with at least 87,000 children immunised as part of the campaign so far. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu insists that Israel will continue to control the strategic border between Gaza and Egypt. The Philadelphia corridor has been a major point of discussion in recent ceasefire talks, and Hamas demands Israel's full withdrawal from Gaza as part of the deal. Netanyahu claims Israel's control of the corridor is vital to ensure Hamas cannot rearm via tunnels.
I would define the end of the war in Gaza. When Hamas no longer rules Gaza. We throw them out. To do that, you need to have a military victory, and you have to have also the political victory to destroy their governance.
Thousands of demonstrators took to the streets in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv when the bodies of 6 hostages were found dead in Gaza. Many blame Netanyahu as 3 of those hostages were reportedly scheduled to be released in the first phase of a ceasefire proposal discussed in July. U.S. President Joe Biden added pressure onto the Israeli Prime Minister and criticizes Netanyahu for not doing enough. However, he remains adamant that they're close to reaching a ceasefire deal.
A bridge connecting a Kosovo city's Serbian ethnic minority with the Albanian ethnic majority will not be authorised for vehicular use amidst rising tensions. Kosovo's Prime Minister had announced plans to open the city of Mitrovica's main bridge for vehicles, but since changed his mind. His decision came following a negative reaction from the city's Serbian community.
Në të gjitha këto takime, natyrisht diskutohet edhe çështja e hapjes së urës qendrore mbi lumin Ibër në Mitrovic, për të cilën jemi duke I bërë të gjitha konsultimet e nevojshme, si dhe punët tona të shtëpisë, si për shembull trajtimi I draftit preliminar për qëndrueshmërinë fizike të urës, teksa presim raportin final.
When plans to open the bridge for vehicles were announced, the Serbian community, Belgrade government, EU and NATO expressed their concern that the move would increase ethnic tensions and impact the safety of the ethnic Serbs. After the announcement, hundreds gathered in protest at the bridge, which has become symbolic of the divided city.
Tako da zna otprilike gdje je crvena linija, zna da se most ne može otvoriti jednostrano, a dok je god mogao da gura jednostrane poteze, gurao ih je I na terenu je ispostavilo se da je na terenu dobio mnogo toga.
Authorities in Serbia condemned the proposal to open the bridge, saying it was Kosovo's attempt to provoke conflict.
The Dutch Prime Minister Dick Schoof met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. He pledged to support Ukraine politically, militarily, and financially. It marks Schoof's first visit to Ukraine since taking office.
De Oekraïne nog weer met 210 miljoen extra steunen om die energieinfrastructuur te helpen weer zeg maar door te laten gaan en ook daar waar nodig te herbouwen.
Together with Zelensky, Schoof also visited an underground school in Zaporizhzhia, where classes take place in a bomb shelter. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin spoke with students in Kyzyl on their first day back to school. President Putin said his thoughts were with children from the Kursk, Belgorod, and Bryansk regions who were forced to study online as a result of fighting near the border.
Безусловно, страна, наши вооруженные силы сделают все для того, чтобы нормальная жизнь в этих регионах, нормальная жизнь у этих детей, у этих ребят восстановилась.
Russia's state television reports that local schools in Kursk have been equipped with bomb shelters amid the ongoing Ukrainian incursion into the region.
The European Court of Auditors says 2 European countries have not yet received a single euro from the post-pandemic fund. The Recovery and Resilience Facility was established in 2020 during the height of the COVID-19 crisis to help EU economies, with close to 724 billion euros available in grants and loans. But the court says that since it began operating in February 2021, Sweden and the Netherlands have not benefited from it, while Hungary, Belgium, Finland, Ireland and Poland only started doing so in 2024. Hungary is in a particular situation, having received 919 million in pre-financing, but no funds for the implementation of measures. In its plan, Budapest committed to 27 super milestones to fight against corruption and respect judicial independence, but it has not complied fully with them. In the case of the Netherlands, the delay is because of politics.
In Netherlands, it was political situation and change of the government. So they simply couldn't actually, because for RRF plan, you need really political consensus and support, and that government stands behind the plan and so on. And Netherlands was waiting for that, actually, stability, let's say like that.
The other countries have submitted payment requests that are in some cases still being assessed by the European Commission. By the end of 2023, around 182 billion euros had been paid to member states, each linked to specific milestones and targets. But the Court of Auditors warns that these disbursements don't necessarily correspond to targets that have already been achieved.
It can happen that they will face during construction period and implementation a lot of difficulties, obstacles, and then delays, that they will not actually manage to do this by the end of 26. And then they will not finish the whole project, the whole measure, while they already received in 23 funds for signing the contract.
For this reason, the court has recommended that the Commission take steps to ensure that any project financed using Recovery and Resilience Facility funds is actually completed.